So of course I'm getting 6 degrees of chicken bacon. Okay, here's 6 degrees of chicken bacon and
Smokehouse.
smokehouse. I'm scared for you. Okay, so it's still technically our anniversary. My hair is just doing some things right now. After we got back from hiking, I took a shower and now my hair is partially dry. So like it's still really wet underneath, but the top layer is dry. So it's like floofy. Anyway, none of that matters. We just had dinner for our anniversary at
Stone Home Brewing in Watford, North Dakota.
Watford City.
Yes, thank you.
And we are about to go to a tattoo place. What's it called? I got to put it in my GPS, so we need to know the name of it. Soulful Ink, maybe? Anyway, we're going to go look. We want to get our rings touched up, which I told you. And then maybe I just let the other one be a surprise.
Yeah.
So,
Soulful Ink Studios.
Okay. We're going to go see. We don't really want them to do it tonight, but if they can only do it tonight, then we're going to get them tonight. Otherwise, we'll see what happens. But I will be finishing an eye for an eye later tonight. I have less than an hour left in it, and it is getting so good that I can't wait to tell you about it. Anyway, it's hot. I'm going to start driving. My car, when I got in it, said it was 109 degrees, which I know it's not that hot. Clearly sitting in the sun, though, it's that hot. So we're leaving. Okay, I know I had to tell y'all some stuff last night, but now it's officially the 11th. And I did get some questions from you guys about about us, my husband and I. And some of them I answered accidentally yesterday in the other video just because they're general questions. But we're going to talk about one of the questions that somebody specifically had that we did not talk about. We'll talk about that today. However, I finished an eye for an eye yesterday and it was so good. I mean, so good. The cover of this, I'm going to scoot over and I'm going to put the cover right here. I mean, I'm sorry, editing Amanda, that I'm making you do this, but you guys have to see how plain this cover is. I was like, this book is not going to be good because of that cover. And it was so good. And I cannot wait to read the next book. So I have started another series now that I am definitely going to continue because it was so good. Did I mention that? Also, don't look at the messy bed and the messy clothes behind me. That's not what we're here for. Also, we didn't get to get our tattoos. We didn't get to get our fingers touched up. There's one tattoo place here that is supposed to be really good. And so that's where we wanted to go. And they usually have 2 artists. And they only have 1 right now because the other one is on maternity leave. So he did not have time to get us in last night and he can't do it today. He might be able to do it tomorrow if people cancel. So I think we're going to move on from that place. And on our way home, it's kind of out of the way and kind of on the way, there's another town that has multiple tattoo places. And we're going to call them today and see if anybody can get us in tomorrow. And we're going to go get our rings touched up. And there is something else that we want, but I'm trying to keep it a surprise so that I can show you guys when we get it as like a, hey, here's what we got. Anyway, so right now I'm trying to download all the clips from yesterday. Y'all, it was 91 clips. That's why I had to cut it short. And so I hope that the video that y'all watched yesterday was not too long. But anyway, I hope for my sake that it was not too long because that means I have to edit it later today. So our plan is today's supposed to be the hottest day while we're here. It's supposed to get up to 98 degrees. Ron said something about a boy band. He had to be funny about it. But anyway, that's how hot it's supposed to be today. And so the plan is to go do a hike right now in the morning while it's still a little bit cooler and then come back here during the middle of the day when it's really hot. And then if we want to go do another hike, we'll go do another one tonight. Although the one we're doing today is 1.5 miles this morning. And that might be enough. Like, I don't know that we want to do it again. We're also going to be driving the scenic route that we drove the first night we were here because the hike we want to do is at the very end of it. So that's pretty much what today is we're going to do a hike this morning, and then we're just going to wait and see. If we happen to call the place, it's an hour from here. And if we call them and they can't do it tomorrow, but they can get us in like tonight, we might drive up there. So we'll just wait and see what happens after we call them. But they don't open until noon. So it's 9 o'clock right now in the morning. We're just going to go do our hike and then check back in afterwards. I am reading Where Sleeping Girls Lie. And oh my gosh, so An Eye for an Eye was definitely, our main character had survived some kind of trauma, or there had been some kind of trauma, and she was reliving it through most of the book. Like, she kept having flashes of it. And the exact same thing is happening with this girl in Where Sleeping Girls Lie. So I'm reading that again in the same kind of thing. Although this girl has just gotten to a boarding school. Her dad died a month ago. But it seems like she had an awful relationship with her dad. Like, he was not nice. And so she is now at this boarding school. She's been homeschooled her whole life. She's never been to a boarding school, and now she's there. And her roommate meets her, shows her around, shows her to their room, and then her roommate disappears. And so now she's missing. There's been false information about her given to the head of the school. And so, I don't know. Our girl is like trying to figure out what's going on with her roommate that she met for one day, but also at the same time trying to figure out who she is at this school and do her classes and get to places on time. And nobody's telling her any rules until she breaks them, because she got there after the school year started and the administrators are mad about it. So anyway, that's what that one is. Where Sleeping Girls Lie is what I'm reading right now. Okay, so hopefully you can hear us. We're driving out to where we're going to do our hike today, and we have one kind of involved question that we're going to talk about. So it says, what advice would we give to newlyweds? So my bit of marriage advice in general is always talk, and when you talk, do active listening. We had to learn about this. So I'll speak from my personal experiences. So I like to read into what people are saying based on what I think their body language is, their tone of voice, everything. So Ron would come home and tell me something, and I would just decide that it meant all of these things. And so active listening means I say back to him what I heard him say to me. And so a lot of times that looks like me saying, okay, but it sounds like you're mad about this, or I feel like you're upset about this. And then he can clarify, yes, I actually am, or no, I'm not. I don't know why it sounded like that. And that happens with me a lot. When I'm thinking about something else and I answer somebody, a lot of times my tone of voice sounds like I'm angry, even though I'm not. And so then he will say, are you mad about that? And then I have to say, no, I don't know why it sounded like that, but I'm not. So a lot of questioning and going back and forth. And then my second thing, and then I'm going to let him say something.
Thanks.
Always, we decided early on, like, we're married, we love each other, so we're going to assume that no harm was meant. So we're assuming that we are not planning or trying to harm each other with the words we use and the actions that we do. So if we then assume things about each other, if we don't assume harm, then it's easier to say, well, he probably meant this. That's the non-assumption of harm. Okay, your turn.
I would agree with both of those. I think one thing, and this comes from me because of the way in which I see the world, and I think it comes back to the no harm. It took a while to learn this. So my personality, when I walk into like the house, I notice where things are out of place, and I have had to learn, one, that's not the way to lead a conversation, to go, hey, about this, but setting expectations of having conversations about setting expectations. So what does it mean? What do holidays mean from where you come from? For some people, birthdays, huge deal. You got to go all out. And for the other, maybe birthdays are something that you do. But if birthdays are a huge deal and your partner comes from a family that the birthday's not a huge deal, and then that first birthday comes around after you're together and they don't make a big show, it's not that they don't love you, it's that they didn't know. And so to have those conversations, what are your expectations from what you've experienced? Because you only know what you saw in your family. So what do holidays mean? How do we handle conflict? Have all those conversations, because you're both bringing baggage into the relationship. And some of them are nice leather bags that you're proud of and that you want to take, you're proud to take on vacation. And some stuff is igloo coolers wrapped in duct tape. And it's crap that you wish you could lose, but you're not gonna. And so have those conversations about what are you bringing in, just in all areas, so that you're not surprised, or you don't make an assumption that they didn't do this and my parents always did this, so obviously that means that they don't love me.
Right. And like he said, that took us a long time. We came from two, and weirdly, like, our parents lived in the same region, in the same area, not that far from each other. But even that, there were differences in how our families did things. So if your families are radically different and from two completely different cultures or something, that's definitely going to add into the differences. But it also comes down to roles. Like, we had problems for the first, 5 or 6 years about the roles that we were going to play in the house and who was going to do what and be in charge of what. And
on that, I would say you have to be honest with yourself to be honest with your spouse.
Right. Well, and what he's referencing is, I thought that when we got married, so we were moving and he was going to be working. He already had a full-time job and he was going to seminary, and I was just going to stay at home. So my plan was that I was going to have babies and I was going to clean the house and I was going to cook dinner every night. And I had all these things, and I was like, yeah, I'll do that. Even though I have never done that in my whole life. I guess I just thought that I would magically be a completely different person when we got married.
It don't work like that.
And so both of us were surprised by it, and both of us were mad at me about it. Like, I was angry with myself for not doing what I said I wanted to do, and I beat myself up about it a lot. He didn't understand why it didn't just happen, because his personality is, if you want it to happen, just do it. So that created a ton of conflict, and we had to really talk about it. And it had to come down to me saying, I am not going to do this. Like, I hate this. If we're going to clean the house, let's clean the house together. It cannot just be my job. I have tried all of these years, all these different ways to do it, and this is not working. And I will say, one of the things that helped us a lot that we did together was learning about our personalities in general and kind of how those react with each other. And also the fact that I forget things like 5 seconds after they're not in my sight. We went through a period where he would leave the house and he would say, I drank the last of the lemonade. Will you make some more? And I'd be like, yeah. And he walked out, and I didn't think about lemonade again the rest of the day. And then he would come home and be like, you didn't make the lemonade. Well, then he was mad at me for not making the lemonade. I was mad at me for forgetting to make the lemonade. And so he started taking the empty lemonade container and putting it in my way where I would have to walk into it to get into the kitchen. And then I would see it and be like, oh, let me make some lemonade. Because if it is in front of my face, I will see it and I will do it. If it is not in front of my face, I forget about it. The same thing with the laundry. If he wanted me to do the laundry, he would put the laundry basket in the middle of the floor. And actually right now, our son sometimes he doesn't want to start the laundry before he goes to sleep. He doesn't want to start his laundry. And so he will put it out in the hallway. And if I see it out there, I throw his laundry in the washer because I don't mind doing it. It's not that I'm purposefully not wanting to do it. It's literally that I do not think about it if it is not right in front of me or written down somewhere where I can look at it.
So I think the bottom line is establish what works for you. So no matter how weird someone else might think it is, if it is good and beneficial for your relationship, makes things better where you're not arguing or fighting, there is no such thing as too weird. If it's, putting the laundry in the middle of the doorway where they can't walk out without it, post-it note, whatever works for you, that's mutually agreed upon, fair game.
And then you just have to say things. Like, I feel like when we first got married, I didn't want to upset him. And so I was very careful about, like, if he said something and it made me feel a kind of way, I just would sit there and not say anything about it. And even just last night, he said something and I said, okay, the way that you said that and the tone that you said that made me feel bad. And he was like, okay, yeah, I get that. And then he apologized for it. So, like, it was 2 seconds and he didn't intend for it to be like that. But then once I pointed out how it sounded when he said it, he was like, yeah, I get it. And so just talking is the main thing that I can say.
So this, after 25 years of marriage, one of the hardest things to do is to watch like a movie or a TV show and that's what they have to do to build tension and conflict, is people not have a conversation.
Oh, right.
Just don't do that. I love Supernatural. It's a show I have loved, and nearly everything in that show could have been solved if Sam and Dean would have stopped and said what they were purposely not saying over half of the season. So just don't do that. Have real conversations, and it will take care of most of it, because it doesn't become something that then will explode and cause all sorts of problems later.
Right, or build up and cause resentment and all kinds of stuff. So just talk. The second half of this question is, what have been the most key things you two have tackled or agreed upon as a couple that have kept you together and kept your relationship happier? And I think we just covered that, the whole talking and learning each other's personalities in all kinds of things. Like, we did the love languages, and so I know acts of service is his main love language. So when he is taking care of something for me, it doesn't feel like love to me, but I know that that's how he's showing love for me. And he knows that gifts are my main love language, and I don't mean diamond rings.
Thank God.
I mean, you went to the gas station and grabbed me a drink when you were checking out, because that means that you were thinking about me. Like, that's it. That's what that means to me. And that is how I feel loved. So there's all kinds of stuff. I know that he's extroverted. I know the way he does his decision making and his thinking. I know what Enneagram number he is. Like, knowing more about their personality so that you can love them better or understand them more is the key to it all. Okay.
Agreed.
That's it. We're going to the park. We're going to go hike. I'll see you guys in a little bit. We were just walking from up there, from right there, and we came across this view all of a sudden. That is beautiful. All right, we have walked just over a mile, I think, and it looks like we're coming up. I can definitely see that we're above a bunch of things. So I feel like we're coming up to the point. Okay, my only negative so far about this trail, I mean, yes, it does not have any shade on the trail, but also it is very tight. Like this right here that we're walking through right now is wide compared to what it looks like in some places. And so anyway, it just makes it hard to look out for snakes and things. We can of course tell if there's a buffalo in our path, but it makes it harder to look out for smaller things because the path is so tiny. Anyway, let's walk out here. Okay, so we've made it to the end. We're going to turn around, walk back to the car, which is another mile back. And then I think we're going to go to our room for a little bit. I'm going to edit tomorrow's video that we filmed yesterday on our anniversary, and then go ahead and try to get some of these clips uploaded. I got a lot of file management and clip management to do, and then we'll be on our way. We do have a phone call to make at noon to a couple of tattoo places that are not in town, but we are willing to drive. If we can get a tattoo today, we'll definitely drive. So that's it. I will update you on whatever else is happening. First of all, the butterflies are flying around us. The bees are flying around us. These poles are all throughout the trail, and this is the first one that we've seen that actually still had a sign sort of attached to it. And our theory is that the bison are using it as a scratching post. So this one you can't tell as much. I mean, there's definitely... Okay, this is one of the poles I was talking about. My camera filled up, so that other one got cut off. But this is a pole, clearly, where they come around a lot and have made a mess out of it. And there's no sign on it. Okay, here is the baby blanket so far. That's... Ron just had to go to the car. That's with 2 full skeins, and I still have this last one to go. And like I said, it's very soft, but it is very like bulky. So I still don't know what I think about it, but I should be able to finish that tomorrow. Let me just tell you the plan for tomorrow while my hair is in a ponytail. I got out of the shower today, and I was like, let me put my hair in a ponytail. So anyway, there's my tiny ponytail. That's not what we're talking about. Okay, tomorrow's plan. We're leaving. Oh, I got my nails done. Y'all, I told y'all about me biting my nails and being real sad about it. This chair is so not comfortable, and I just plopped down in it and it hurt. Anyway, I told y'all about biting my nails and I was real sad about it. Well, we're going tomorrow to get our tattoos touched up, our wedding ring tattoos, and I did not want to have that person tattooing me with my gross bitten fingernails. And I was like, please, let us have time to go grab a manicure. So this afternoon, while we were trying not to be too hot, I said, let's go. We have enough time to go get our nails done. Our nails, like he's getting nails. But we have enough time to go get my nails done and go to dinner. So I did not take one single picture of dinner. Every day that we've been here, we have gotten up and eaten like a pretty large breakfast. And then we have had nothing except a couple of little snack bars for our lunch. And then we eat dinner. because then neither one of us feel bad about eating a little bit like an out to dinner, and then we don't have to go out to lunch also. So all of that to say, we ate at the Smiling Moose tonight, and I had a burger and waffle fries, and they were so good. And Ron had some kind of weird sandwich. I don't know, it had cranberries on it. I told y'all, he picks the weirdest things he can find at a restaurant. So tomorrow we're gonna do breakfast in the hotel, and then we're driving to Fort Union Trading Post, which is on the Montana-North Dakota border. It's about an hour from here, and it'll get me a little stamp in my book because there's only 3 places in North Dakota that are on the National Historic something, either a national park or a historic site or something like that. And so this one is a historic site. It's a trading post where Canadians would come down, the French would come down from Canada, and then all of the trappers and everybody that lived in Montana and North Dakota would come here, and then the native tribes, there were a couple of them on the thing that said they lived in the area, and they would come and they all met there at that trading post. So we're gonna go there in the morning, which I will talk about it in the morning, and then we're going to Williston, North Dakota, to get our tattoo done on our finger, our ring finger fixed. They can get us tomorrow at noon. I'm trying not to drop this yarn. So that is the plan. And then I will show you the other exciting thing that we're gonna get done. But I think this is it for today. We are just gonna pack tonight because we're leaving here at 8:30 in the morning. So we're gonna eat and leave. And I've got to get tomorrow's video edited and ready to go, which means that tomorrow I'm going to be editing back at my house. So I really only had to do these 2 videos, so it's not been bad. My computer has done quite nicely getting them all done. So I just didn't have my end card, the end screen thing, which I guess you noticed that after I said bye, there was nothing else. It was just bye. So it'll be back on this one because I'm editing this one at my house. So that's it. I am going to finish Where Sleeping Girls Lie tonight. So tomorrow on our trip, I will be sure to tell you what I think about that one. And I have not given you an update on this. I have 50 minutes because yesterday I read until I had 25 minutes, but that's all I have left in this book. So I'm going to finish this one tomorrow as well, and we will talk about Arrows of the Queen. And then at that point I should be, and then I'm reading Holes, and Holes is a really short book. So I'll be able to finish that one as well. And then I can tell you about all of those while we're driving tomorrow and show you our surprise. That's it. I still didn't get to crochet the other thing. I've only done this blanket. I didn't even start one of the other ones, but I'm about to sit here and export and upload the video, and I'm going to be listening to Where Sleeping Girls Lie. And so maybe I'll do some of the crocheting. This one, it hurts my hand. So I'm going to wait till tomorrow to work on this. So I think I might work on one of the other ones. That'd be nice. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. So I will show you tomorrow what I finished tonight, if I get anything finished. Otherwise, I'll check in with all the books that I'm reading and how everything's going tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye.